My name's Amy, and I have a 4-year-old who has asthma, and he was diagnosed 2 years ago. So we were putting him to bed one night, and he just had this little wheeze that we could hear, and he didn't have any other symptoms, no runny nose, no fever. So it just seemed really unusual. So we went to the after-hours pediatrician, and she listened to him, and she looked at us and said, "Does anyone in your family have asthma?" We said no. She said, okay. And then she did a breathing treatment and sent us home with a nebulizer, and she was treating us for RSV. And after a few days of treatment, he just wasn't getting better. And that question that she'd asked was still in my mind, just that look on her face and the way she'd wondered. And I was so thankful that I had a neighbor who had a daughter with asthma, and I knew she would have more information about it. So I was really grateful to be able to just text her and say, hey, I think that my little boy might be having some asthma symptoms. Would you come over and have a look at him and listen? And she was so helpful. She just had all this experience that was so valuable to us. So she could see that he was retracting when he was breathing, and she even had her own stethoscope, which was so awesome. She could listen to him. But it meant so much to have another mom come and say, yeah, this looks like asthma. I felt empowered when we went back to the pediatrician to say, he's not doing well, he's not improving treating for RSV. I think this really could be asthma. Diving into this new world of asthma was initially really confusing. I sort of felt like, wait, we have asthma? It just felt like a lot. And there's this nebulizer that your little baby's breathing into, and this new medication, and it felt overwhelming. And also worrying about, how long does an episode last? How long are we going to be nebulizing every 4 hours? When does this go away? What are the cycles like? Figuring all of that out was really overwhelming at first and felt really scary, especially watching him struggle to breathe and wondering if that was going to be a regular part of our lives. Are we going to do this every month? We just didn't know. So having the support of a neighbor who had been through it for years and could reassure me, and I could see how healthy and happy her daughter was, and that this was all going to be okay, was really helpful for us. It just brought a lot of peace and comfort. It helped me like exhale on it and say, okay, we're going to get through this, and we'll figure out what it looks like, and ours will look different than hers, but we'll figure it out. I mean, there were just really scary times when we didn't know, and watching your child struggle to breathe is really terrifying in a whole new way. Of course, I had known that my neighbor had struggled with her daughter, but I didn't understand how scary it is to really watch your child struggling to breathe. So being able to have someone who I could connect with in those late hours, that was just such a gift. And I would text her late and think, oh, I hope she's still awake. And I would have loved to have a bigger network of moms to talk to. That would have been amazing, to feel like I wasn't just relying on this one person seeing my text or being able to take my phone call, but that I could reach out to many people and get a better answer, or get an answer from someone out of all these people would have been a really huge help to us. There's that office visit where you get the information and it's new and overwhelming, but then you go home and live it, and having moms be able to say, oh yeah, that's what that looks like. Oh, this is what it looks like. Oh, remember, this is how you use your medication. That kind of thing has been really helpful. I don't think we were reassured by the pediatrician. We were treated, given our tools, and sent on our way. But reassurance and my confidence that I could do this as a mom and that my little boy would be fine, that came through my connection to my neighbor, for sure. So watching my little boy struggle to breathe, my own chest gets tight, my anxiety rises, and I feel this tension and worry, and being able to connect with my neighbor and see how well her little girl is doing and how well she's doing as a mom, feeling like, oh, I am gonna get this. I'm gonna figure this out, and developing that confidence, then I felt like I could exhale. Like there was some relief for me. We're gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, in a way that I did not receive at my pediatrician's office.